So thank you very much, Nora. Maybe I could also call upon from Karibu. Let's put our hands together for her.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here as I stand on the protocols already established. And just to also add my voice to everything that has been said about the business environment reforms, is to also just highlight the issues that Kenya Export Promotion and Branding does towards nation branding. Because we realize that the issue of business reforms affects how our brand as a country is perceived, and as a result of that, also it also has a relationship to the investments that we're able to attract into the country, as well as even the trade that we shall be undertaking. So as Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, and in our role as trying to enhance the the nation brand, we have taken upon ourselves to take 3 programs into consideration. The first one of them is called the Made in Kenya program, where we're trying to be able to position our products from Kenya as being authentic, high quality, and globally competitive. And you realize that positioning has got a direct relationship with the business environment and the reforms that are related to it. So we are a partner in that sense, that we're trying to work towards a common goal, with the understanding that that goal also affects, our country and how we can be able to position, because as you engage, you'll notice that really a lot of it has got something to do with lack of information. So maybe what we need to do is then push the information that is necessary for us to be able to appreciate the business forum, business reforms that are happening, and even the business environment. So as KEPROBA, we are quite excited to be part of this, especially in the business forum. I also want to mention that even as KEPROBA, we also are part of the Export Enhancement Program as well. And from the Export Enhancement Program, our objective is to be able to push value-added products in the areas that we are already, our strength in exports. We are basically known as being good in tea, especially in the horticultural space. We have tea, coffee, and also in the horticultural space. But there is now a need for us. We are trading exports from bulk and value-added and non-branded to be able to move it to value addition. And we are happy to partner with Trademark Africa and through the BIP program to move the narrative of Kenyan exports from being bulk and branded and also focusing on narrow markets to now making it globally competitive, value adding to the exports that we have. with the various stakeholders possible, especially when it comes to issues of shaping the narrative of the country when it comes to business reforms. So thank you so much for having us.
So thank you very much, Flois. Let me also recognize KEPSA and also the chair and also the CEO of Retract. Welcome. We'll call you to the podium. I also want to recognize the presence of Agayo Ogambi from the Kenya Shippers Council. Welcome. And all other CEOs that have not mentioned, you're most welcome. And other guests that have come in after we have started. Let me take this opportunity, before I'm accused of not being gender sensitive, to call Dr. Kennedy Chelule from the Special Economic Zones Authority, the CEO. Welcome. Let's put our hands together.
Thank you, Steve. PS CEOs, all stakeholders in the house. I think it's still morning. Good morning. I'm Ken Chelule, CEO of Special Economic Zones. It's unambushed, but I'll try my best. I'm sure you know it's an instrument. It's an instrument for attracting FDIs, and Kenya is also doing its bit. I'll briefly say that SEZ, our role and mandate is to regulate the sector. We also are a developer of zones, and by and large, together with Ken Invest and other government entities, we do generally promotion on investment within our zones. As we speak, we have a total of 38 special economic zones in the country, 8 of which are government. The rest are private sector. So these are purely private sector program. Even in the public zone, we onboard private sector to do business or to do what they are good at. These reforms comes handy to us, and it's a follow-up of what we did last year. We made some major amendment in the Finance Act of 2023, where we made some amendment in regards to market access. There was also provision that there was need to encourage backward linkages. And that market access facilitated that. There were further incentives such as exemption on withholding tax, particularly for the non-residents. And I think this to us is coming because we are continually engaging our investors. They've been giving us a lot of feedback, and those feedback, you will see them in these reforms. Why are we doing this? We understand that special economic zones are enclaves, for lack of a better word, foreign country within a country. So that means we need to minimize bureaucracy. We need to allow the investors to maximize their operations, their businesses within our zone, for them to be globally competitive. Therefore, they strive toward, for example, minimum licenses or one license if possible is what we aim at. In the end, Kenya government, like other governments, have introduced all these things for purposes of creating as many jobs in order to mop out all the unemployed youth, if possible, so that we can have the talent in form of resources. We have human resources engaging in some meaningful activities. As we speak, as an authority, we have a lot of opportunities for the investors who are here or those who you represent. Currently, in particular in Naivasha, we're offering opportunities to develop the zone. We're looking for partners to do infrastructure, build go-downs that will facilitate investors to come in. And where you are involved in direct business, manufacturing or other form of business, we also offer plenty of opportunities to to invest directly into your business. We're lucky that following the successful campaign in Naivasha, we now have a lot of investors. I think we are closing to 19 within the last 1 year. And Kenya government has added land there. We initially had 1,000, we are now at 6,000. So these are the opportunities we are providing. By and large, we will be, if there are any reforms you wish to be included in our program, we will welcome. We also, in addition to what we've submitted, we'll be making further memorandum so that we can enhance. And this follows our continued engagement with our peers. Recently, we've been in Egypt, we've been in China, we've been in Dubai, and we've noted a lot of similarities with what we have, and the similarities for which we want to harmonize. I know there is an argument about racing to the bottom in terms of keeping our taxes, which we're trying to avoid. But we need to be at least at par with everyone else so that we are globally competitive. And I think that's what I have for this morning. Thank you. Thank you, Steve, for the opportunity. And I look forward to engaging with many of you.
Thank you very much, CEO. Maybe let me take this opportunity now to call Raymond Mwalenya from the Kenya Bankers Association to also give us some remarks.
Good morning. The PSS, Abubakar, I know you are my classmate. I'm proud of the work you are doing in the ministry. PS Juma and our partners and everybody present. For the banking sector, you know, we power the economy, so we are keen to just be able to ensure that the economic empowerment and independence, individuals, households, businesses, is at the forefront of what we do. So today, looking at this ecosystem, we are here to solve problems or solve a problem. And I know part of the problem is there's so much unemployment, our economy has stagnated, and then our revenues also have stagnated. So I think those three problems make us to be here to find solutions. So whatever English we may use, whatever Kiswahili we may use, whatever vernacular language we may use, or French, we need to just focus on those three problems: unemployment, how we revive the economy, and then also how we ensure that the government is getting revenue to be able to provide services. Another thing, I look from a banking perspective, I look at this economy in that we very much informal economy, and that's not good for all of us. So we need to find a way in which we need to move our informality into formal, part of which begins with all of us in the room. We have our side hustles, small businesses. Those are informal engagements. How can we be able to organize ourselves? Look at our side hustle as a venture that can be able to work with us for the next 100 years, 200 years, way past ourselves. For that, we'll be able to organize ourselves better. And from the banking perspective, we will be able to work with you.
So my message today is when you go back home today, convert that, don't look at it as a side hustle, a small business, but rename it as a family business. And then focus on how your children will be involved in, how your grandchildren will be involved in that venture. And you'll be a very good customer for us. You'll not have a problem on access to finance, because if your 22-year-old comes to the bank looking for finance on the business that you as a parent have been working on, we'll be very happy to extend that credit to your 22-year-old, because when you ask that 22-year-old, what experience do you have in this business? The 22-year-old will comfortably say, I have 12 years experience for the fact that since they were 5, they were 8, they've been working with the parents and they understand the business and they're able to respond to any question around that particular business. So as Kenyans, let's model around family businesses. They'll help us into the future. And then also, even for us who are employed, you know, very soon we are going into retirement. And we've been blessed with good weather, good food, and good medication. We are living until 100. So what are you going to do from 60 to 100? We really need to have family ventures which are sustainable, and banks can be able to work with us. We can create employment without really necessarily looking at the big companies. Even all big companies in Kenya, when you look at them, they're all family businesses. Even if they've converted into public companies, but how they began, they're all family businesses. So let's not take for granted what we have within our ecosystem. Let's preach this gospel to our entrepreneurs who are small now, but they need to formalize and look long-term. We'll be able to solve our employment challenges, we'll be able to grow our economy, and be able to raise revenue for government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is Raymond Malanja. From a banker's point, when we hear you saying we have an issue with liquidity, we are very worried. From an investor point of view, because the issue of bankability, especially where MSMEs are concerned. But my take home from that particular insight from Raymond Malanja there, the acting CEO KBA, is that we need to now convert those family businesses and make them formal. This is not just going to provide experience for the young people. You know, we have families, then when they go to the bank, the issue of bankability, if we can convert this to family business, make them more formal, then we can access credit, because the cost of credit is also something. Then we already have the ecosystem. We know our Asian community learned that secret way back, looking at our Kenyan economy. I'm not trying to point them out or so, but we're saying that those are lessons that we need to pick up and go forward with. Now, in light of matters of gender balance and such, would want to call to the podium Wamboi Mbarira. She's a Vice Chair Trade Secretary at KEPSA, to give us her remarks in regard to where we are at and what the private sector wants done to ensure that matters of trade get the priority that they require. Welcome, ma'am.
Good morning. All protocols observed. I shall not speak as Vice Chair KEPSA now, because I'm told I will speak again. So now I'll speak at the Retail Trade Association of Kenya CEO. I like to call ourselves the forgotten middle. I've been making a lot of noise this week, PSs, to both the internal trade people that I don't want to become others, because I feel we are becoming others, and really between Tobias and agriculture, nothing will happen if the retail sector is not a strong one. So we always have, and I mean no malice, Tobias, we always have KNCCI, then we have CAM, and then we have KEPSA. But really, we cannot have a conversation around trade without talking about retail and wholesale as being key. And yesterday, I was in a very interesting conversation with the internal trade department, and 2 people from the department did the presentation. And when they got to me, they said, so what is your view around what we need to do around retail and wholesale? And I said, actually, I have no view. Because it was amazing how much they already know as to what needs to be done for the sector. Yeah, so I just said, all we need is for you to implement everything that you've said that needs to be done for the sector. So matters of national policy, coordinating national and county government, looking into the sustainable labor, so that matters where labor intensive, how do we skill that labor within retail and wholesale, to ensure that the people who are in need, and as Raymond said, retail has been known from time immemorial as being very key in terms of family business. All our retailers actually start from a family business. And the challenges of ignoring the retail sector are what brought about the issues of Tuskys, the issues of Nakumat, because we have not put in effort to formalize. I say sadly, the retail sector is looked similarly almost to agriculture, the thing you do as you look for another job. We have not given it the seriousity it requires. And not to keep naming names, we have conversation with Floyce. In my personal view, you will not grow a country on exports. You will not, because the only person who can export a product is a Kenyan. A Kenyan can export a Kenyan product. If we take something that has been manufactured within a country and take it to a European country, for example, I like to use Cocoa Promo that is served in government offices a lot versus Cadbury's. If those two are on a shelf in the US or in the European market, what are the chances they'll pick the Cocoa Promo? What are the chances the European will pick Cocoa Promo vis-a-vis Cadbury? But what are the chances that a Kenyan who knows Cocoa Promo is Kenyan will pick that product off a foreign shelf? The owner of Tuskys used to tell me the reason he will not sell out Tuskys is because he wants to open a branch in Nigeria, he wants to open a branch in Ethiopia, and then stock Kenyan goods. Then the Kenyans in that country will partake of that product, and that product will then be introduced to locals of that market, who will then appreciate the quality of the Kenyan product, and then be able to demand more of that product. I use things that people put in their suitcases when they're going back to whichever country they've come from. They'll put in Royco, they'll put in our spices. So those are the things we've already exported, and we've exported them because a Kenyan carried it in a suitcase, went and made a meal for the locals of whichever country they're living in. Somebody liked that spice, and therefore, the next trip you come, you have 2 suitcases of that particular item. So I feel we need to look inward more to be able to strengthen the entire value chain. We provide a shelf that allows Tobias to manufacture a product and therefore give visibility to that product to the locals. How do we ensure to begin with that a Kenyan knows what is a Kenyan product and starts interacting with it so that we are then able to say, we can now export because we've created many Kenyans who know what their products are. And when KAM takes the products to any of the countries where we've signed agreements with, there are Kenyans there who know that product and are able to circulate it and demand it and introduce it to fellow individuals in those countries, creating a larger market for export. So thank you very much, my brief comment.
Thank you very much, Omboi, for giving us that brief on the retail sector. We maybe at this point, I heard you mention exports. It's a good point to also invite the CEO, Fresh Producers Exporters Association of Kenya, Bwana Hosea Machuki. Karibu. Let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you, Steve. Our guests, PS Dr. Mukhwana and PS Abubakar, all dignitaries in the room, CEOs from government and CEOs from private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Yeah, I'm here with my colleague Clement Tulezi, who is the CEO of Kenya Flour Council. We work very closely together. On behalf of the horticulture industry in Kenya, we are happy to be part and parcel of this process. We have been involved since Monday, and we are happy to be here because for us, a conducive environment is what we need for purposes of ensuring that our flowers, our fruits and vegetables get to the destination market in good order. Now, there are a number of things that my colleagues have talked about that are important in our business that has got to do with the taxation regime, the laws that we have. Many of them sometimes stifle the business that we do. And we're happy that government is taking this up to ensure that the field for us as players is very well done, to the extent that we are then able to do business. Let's talk about the numbers. The horticulture industry exports about 150 billion worth of flowers, fruits and veg annually. The horticulture industry, the horticulture export industry employs about 350,000 people directly and supports probably over 6 million households indirectly. And we are just a small sector that contributes less than 3% to the GDP, but it has potential to actually contribute to 10% of GDP if the things that we request to be done are done. Now, I was going to address my two senior PSs here on a particular point. And I hope I'll be given an opportunity when they are back. We have in this room one of the exporters who has developed a new pack house. We were there on Tuesday to signify the completion of that pack house. It's just 15 kilometers out of Ngong town, next to a tarmac road, and there is a power line, and the pack house is complete. It's probably twice the size of this room. It needs to employ 500 people. They have literally been begging Kenya Power to put a transformer next to that pack house. It's complete. They can't switch it on because there's no transformer. So 500 people can wait forever. This pack house is supposed to do herbs and spices. The company does herbs that they sell to the UK and 6 other European countries. So we have signed EPA. Thank you very much. But we can't move herbs from that pack house to Europe because of one item that the government of Kenya is supposed to deliver. We like to use this meeting as an example of how we can deliver something to at least one company in Kenya. Yeah, Thank you very much.
Sorry, Raymond. Let us all be upstanding and receive our chief guest. Yeah, karibu sana Bwana Waziri. Yeah, karibu sana.
Okay, let's sit.
Thank you very much. Now that our chief guest is here, we can proceed with the rest of the programming, riding on the protocols already established.
Thank you so much. There was an ambush. The first one to speak in front. Thank you so much. There was an ambush. The first one to speak in front of the CS. So thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, and so good. I was just commenting on Ahmed's attire, and I really like your attire as well. I know it's a Friday, so thank you so much, Buenos Dias. 1 minute on what we can take. First of all, I really want to acknowledge your team, PS Abubakar and PS Juma. We have been engaging with them tremendously from the starting of the year and even last year on various issues of how we can improve the business environment for Kenya, for our investors. We know that Kenya and the UK have long, deep-rooted roots. The trade figure is 1.4 billion pounds at the moment. We really want to increase that in the coming years. We have investors coming in next week as well. And CS, I know you met our trade commissioner this week as well, John Humphrey, to talk about some more engagements about trade relations. So we're really optimistic. We just need a few things that need to be sorted and made it more easier. We talked about VAT refunds. We talked about harmonization of county and other licenses. We talked about how can we make it more simplify the EAC trade tariffs and engagement. So that's my 1 minute.
Okay, thank you so much. Give her a clap.
Yes. So calling next is...
Then we'll ask our colleague Felipe from the EU to,
yes.
Again, also just give us one takeaway for the CS.
Thank you, PS. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, good morning again. It is indeed another ambush. And I will just summarize very quickly my intervention of before, saying that we're very happy to be here to partnering with the government of Kenya through our big BIP program. The 3E stands for Environment and Enhance Export program. We're happy that Trademark Africa is here today and have supported this event along the week. We think that is important. We talk about business environment enhancement, particularly now that the EPA has been signed and is started to be implemented. Investment and trade are two sides of the same coin, so it's important if we want to make sure that the EPA achieves its objectives, the business environment is enhanced. We have been in dialogue with the government of Kenya also through our European business community here to make sure that if there are any issues that are faced by European investors, they are actually discussed and addressed, and this is part of that. So we're very happy to be here today, and we are looking forward to continue engaging with you and the ministry in the coming weeks and months. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Felipe. I think we can have from the French Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Honorable Cabinet Secretary Salim Vouria, PSS Juma Mokhwana, PSS Abubakar Hassan Abubakar, thank you very much. Distinguished guests, I think in a nutshell, we highlighted that it was an honor for us to represent the EU private sector in that forum. I think we commend the fact that we've opened a dialogue to try to enhance the business environment. One key comment I had made was that we needed that platform. Even if we are flagged as European companies, I think we are local registered